Hello, traders. Welcome to this live webinar with myself, Chris Svorcik from Elite Currency. Thank you for joining, and sorry for the delay. We should have started earlier, but thanks for staying here, and being patient. And let's start. So let's get rid of this screen. There we go. Yeah, that Monfex offer, by the way, is still valid if you're interested in ECS Live 6 months or a discount for one of the two EAs. If you're from one of these countries, you could apply, as far as I know. So that's still valid, by the way. Anyhow, let's go to some of the questions from last week. One of them was about the, let me think here. The LOA EA for Bitcoin. The question was if there's an on and off button. There isn't, but not now. But I spoke to our programmer Carlos, and he said that it can be added. So we will have a version that allows that to turn off a certain direction soon. So that's good news. So for instance, if Bitcoin, as of course we've seen, isn't in a strong uptrend, obviously almost I think went above 40,000, right? So if you prefer to close that direction to the downside, there will be that option in a new version. So that's good news. Second thing from last week, I remember I think it was 1.5 weeks ago, last week Friday, we talked about the fact that I might add to the Ultima EA some capital because of the drawdown. It could be a moment where statistically we might get a few wins. So I was considering that. I didn't do it yet, and we already had, in fact, a couple of wins, 5 wins, if I remember correctly. So I kind of missed the moment due to my slowness. So yeah, I didn't have. It would have been maybe a good opportunity. Of course, you never know, but from a drawdown kind of equity curve, maybe a good moment to do that. I missed that moment. But on the other side, the good news is that there were a couple of wins. Of course, we never want to overemphasize just a few trades in any direction, whether they're losses or wins, right? But of course, that said, it's nice to have a few wins. Of course, the drawdown was certainly stronger than we've seen in the 1.5 years of live trading. So obviously, it's good to have a few wins and snap out of that drawdown. On the other side, because we reached the max drawdown, we, according to our plan, we reduced the risk per setup. So that was a bit fortunate that the winning streak of 5 wins in a row, I think it were 5 wins in a row, happened right just at the moment that the drawdown was breached by a few percent. We followed our plan to move it down to 3%, and then we had that winning streak. So although the profits amounted to about 37%, I think, with 3% risk, of course, the profits would have been more with 5% risk. But what can you do? You have a plan, and it's always good to stick to the plan, and you can't blame yourself for following a plan, in my view. 2 simple words, I guess, but ultimately, I think that's the value of a trading plan, is that you can feel comfortable in following that and know that trading psychology is not messing around with you, right? And that's always so difficult with trading psychology, right? Because if you start to intervene, if you start to mess around, if you start to change your plans, then it can quickly become confusing, and before you know it, you're in the spiral of doom, as Ned always says, and you're running from one emotion to another, and often that could lead to much bigger losses, right? So that's why sticking and following the plan has its value. If you get to a point that you're very experienced, of course, it's maybe a bit easier to break the plan at times that you think it's really worthwhile, and manage that from a trading psychology point of view. Anyhow, so a mix of good news. I mean, bad news is I missed my moment for adding the capital. Good news is we had a 5 wins. So on Ultima EA, right? Of course, I'm talking about Ultima EA. Sorry, from Mislav Nikolic and Bull Capital. That said, it's with 3% instead of 5, but still better a few wins than a few losses. Okay. Now, anyhow, let's take then. I guess if we're talking about it, anyhow, let's take a look at that. My FX book link. Oh, sorry. There we go. Let me quickly sign in. Otherwise, so let's see. It's just a few trades, as I said. I don't want to overemphasize a few trades. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, we have a weekly webinar, so obviously we discuss things on a weekly basis. Let's take a look at that. So yeah, January should be up about, I think it's 27. Yeah, 27. The actual wins were a little bit more, but there was some smaller loss at the beginning, about I guess 10%, and the 5 wins was about 37. So minus 10 plus 37, of course, is then plus 27. And here you can see those 5 wins there. All right. And now there are 2 open trades. Let's see how that goes. The idea is that if we get some equity curve with a higher high and a higher low, that we might consider again going up to 5%. So that moment hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, let's see at when that happens. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that. For the moment, still at 3%. And drawdown, of course, also dropping a little bit down to 52 somehow. Not sure how that drawdown is exactly calculated, to be honest. Not sure why it's 52, but anyhow, it's less than 62, and that's good news. So that's one thing. Let's move on then, I guess. Any questions here, by the way, in the live webinar on this? Feel free to let me know, of course. Otherwise, let's take a look at other EAs. Let's take a look at Zeus EA. Yeah, those wins were shorts, by the way, those 5 shorts. All right, Zeus EA. This month, we're 2/3 through January, up 2.5%. As you're kind of used to, the same rhythm here. Smaller maybe gains, but stable and consistent. That's what we're seeing in January too. Open trades not causing any problems in recent weeks, as you can see. The yellow line, that's the yellow line basically, is matching the red line. So drawdown 15%, up 24%. This is the PAM account, our own account 54, and up a little bit more, plus 3.1%. So stable as it goes basically at this moment for the Zeus EA. So if you're interested, there was a question in our forum. How does automated trading work, and if I'm interested, how to join. So if you're interested, at this moment we have 2 EAs available: Rush EA and the LOA EA. Ultima EA and Rush EA are just paused for the moment to get a little bit more info about the short term, how the EAs are behaving the next months or weeks and months, let's say. Then we could see again. So if you're interested in Zeus EA, just go to. This is once again a question from our audience from Paras. Paras, if you want to join, go to our website, elitecurrency.com, click on services, click on Forex and CFD, click on Zeus EA here to click on learn more, or click on Black Widow for the LOA EA. Zeus EA is a grid trading based style, fully automated, includes VPS. You do need to share the password. That's the best if it's managed by the Zeus EA team on our VPS as well, rather than you running the EA on your own VPS. The VPS is included. There are a couple of ways of trading the Zeus EA, either through a rental or through profit share. Rental is a fee beforehand. Profit share is basically as you get profit, you give a small part of that profit to us. And yeah, those are the 2 main options. With the rental, there are again, two different options: either a sponsored version from our partner broker or your own broker. And if you're interested in LOA EA, you can find it under Black Kamak D here, Black Widow, the sponsored version or a paid version. Now, LOA EA, Zusier is doing great. LOA EA was not doing as well, so also going through a little bit of a drawdown. Let's take a look. In January is no different at this moment, so I don't think that many will be interested in LOA EA at this moment. But still, if you were to try it, you can do so through this page. Then, last but not least, the Russia. Let's see. Here we go. Hi, Ali. Good to see you, by the way. How are you doing? Hope all is well. I hope you are off to a good start of the new year. Now, of course, just as everyone else. And last but not least, this Russia. Let's see. Russia was also moved to 3% from 5 at the same time as Ultima EA, by the way. And it's up slightly 4.5 at this moment. Not as much as Ultima EA, which is up 27, but off to a okay start. So 3 out of 4 EAs are having a pretty good January so far, but of course we have still plenty of days left in January, almost a full 2 weeks. So let's see. But Russia, yeah, is despite the lower risk, is making a higher high and has a higher low on the equity curve. So that could be a first sign of rebound, I think. Thank you, Ali. Ali is wishing everyone, me and everyone, a great year. So let's definitely hope. Looking forward to a green pip 2021, as Netta would say. Many green pips for all. So I think those were the main things I had on my list to discuss. Let me check. Those were all the questions. Any other questions in here in this live webinar by any chance? Anything that pops in mind? Oh, one more thing, by the way. If might not be the best moment, with some of these drawdowns, but still, if you think that you appreciate our work, then of course would appreciate your 2 cents and feedback on Forks Peace Army and Trustpilot. So yeah, I understand that drawdowns are heavy, but yeah, please keep in mind that this is something we've tried to emphasize as much as we can, is that it's a high risk approach. Drawdowns can occur. Not only that, major losses can occur, right? So it's our way of trading a approach that could potentially give the ability to build an account quickly. Whether that happens or not, we never know. There were moments that certainly did. Our accounts were up at one point at plus 1,000%. So I think that the ability for DA, Ultima EA, for instance, to make such strong pushes and gains is clear. Whether that will continue, we'll have to see. But yeah, that's the idea. Whereas of course other EAs, maybe like LOA EA and Zeus EA, are I think a little bit more conservative. So just like with trading and investing, you have higher risk approaches, you have lower risk approaches, you have medium risk approaches. So please do keep that context in mind, I would say, when making an evaluation about us. And yeah, anyhow, let's see. Ali has a question, I think. Let's see. You can add crypto trading into the portfolio. Uh, yeah, it's certainly something we've thought about indeed in the past. We added options recently in 2020. Um, we were also thinking about that. Now, it's not something that Neneth and I would be doing because we're not that clued in, not that on top of things in regard to trading opportunities in the crypto world. But we have some potential partners that showed a lot of promise, and we think could do that very well. We didn't get there quite yet. At this moment, the closest thing we have is Ultima EA with Bitcoin, which trades CFD or yeah, the you know not the coin itself, but yeah, it's showed some promise at the beginning. Now I think it's a little bit on the slower side. Whether we will do that, maybe it is something will consider in 2021 indeed. So, but thank you for indicating that that's something you think would be interesting. Claudia is also wishing everyone a great year. You too, Claudia. I hope so too, Ali. About those SWOT signals, I really do. But I cannot at this moment yet give a time frame for that. I will ask Taiwo. That's a great question. I'll ask Mislav Nikolic. Of course, as you probably know, Russia, both Russia and Ultima EA from Mislav Nikolic from Bull Capital, Zusier and LOEA from Elite Currency. I will ask. That's something I'll get back to you next week on. Yeah, indeed, Ali. I have seen those as well, and I think with cryptos, those types of gains are seemingly quite obtainable. As, you know, I've not followed them very intensively. I don't know how accurate they are, but from the surface, it looks like that indeed. So yeah, I see your point definitely. All right, yeah. So I think great comments. Thank you all, Tao, Claudia, Ali. Main 2 points I think for the moment are, or let's make a summary, I guess. Yeah, cryptos. I will add it to my list to discuss in the near future. Let's see how that goes. SWOT signals. I hope so. I've been working on it in the background, but unfortunately, I cannot give a commitment to any timing. Unfortunately, as yet. Let's see how that goes. What else? Russia longer backtesting. Yes, I will ask Mislav and get back to you next week. Those are the main things, I think, right? Yeah. And yeah, regarding the risk on Ultima and Russia, basically waiting for more info, higher high, higher low on Ultima before for doing that, before potentially changing that. I guess that's it. Oh yeah, and Paras, once again, this is the main page where you'll find the services, Forex, and CFD. All right. Um, Ali is asking. Yes, I think so. Well, you know, there's a limited number of cryptos on the MT4 I have, but last time I checked, looked pretty good. I haven't checked in a while though, to be honest. So I think that the logic, as long as there's some the logic of SWOT with wave patterns and swings and moving averages, fibs, fractals, I think fits any market that has some decent price movement. Indeed. Claudia, no plan at the moment to there was I forgot, to be honest. I have a bad memory. I apologize. There was some problems with Telegram and the setups, and I don't remember what, but it's there's nothing active at the moment on that. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Indeed, Ali. Yes. Let's Dance EA has been doing well. Has finished a year of live trading and with decent performance. I mean, not everyone will be happy. I think it was 20 to 25%. Not everyone is going to be super happy with that return. I mean, within the world of forex and CFDs, I guess some might consider that on the lower side. I can see that. I mean, it is a bit lower. Let me double check. I don't want to give wrong information. Uh, but but still decent in my view, and it's also on our list to. I cannot find it at the moment. Also on our list things to add. Um, yeah, plus 20 indeed. Low drawdown though, 10%. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's pretty good. Stable equity curve. This is 2020 performance. So it's more conservative. But I still think has could have a role in anyone's portfolio of EAs. And with a year of live trading, certainly has a decent track record in terms of length already. So yeah, that's something we're considering as well. So yeah, and the SWAT EA, working on that. SWAT EA, pretty far already. Best results so far with euro-dollar hourly chart. Went through some intensive testing. That work was kind of paused with the holiday season, but continuing with that again. Hope to. I think within 2-3 weeks we should be quite far. Yeah. All right. Thanks again. See you tomorrow with the video, or else next week. Thanks for joining, and wish you all great trading. Cheers, everyone.